Spanish sentences have some very strict rules when it comes to verbs. We've shown before that any given sentence has one and only one verb, unless two clauses are being combined with a conjunction. Well, that's sort of true. So let's look again at this basic sentence that we've been using. Hemos estado here. We have been here. Technically, two verbs are represented here, but only one of them is conjugated, the verb haber, in this case, hemos. So you can have two verbs in a sentence, but only one of them will be conjugated. It's the same thing here. You are being a baby. You estás siendo a baby. You can't say, for example, you eres a baby. Only one of the involved verbs is going to be conjugated, typically the first one. And that will be used to help the other verb, which will be unconjugated. So officially speaking, the rule is a Spanish clause can have only one conjugated verb, which is kind of a technical way of saying that a Spanish sentence will only have one verb that's conjugated, but it can have any number of verbs that are unconjugated. Now, I used the word clause here because technically you can actually combine multiple sentences or clauses together into one bigger sentence if you use conjunctions, as we learned in the first week. And then you can call the smaller sentences clauses. But either way, don't worry about those terms too much. What's really important to know is a new rule that you're about to learn. That rule is that when you have a verb helping another verb, such as haber before a participle or estar before a gerund, you're not allowed to separate them. You can't put things in between. For example, check out what we've done with this English sentence. Have you been here before? The verbs here in Spanish would be has and estado. So you might be tempted to translate this as has you estado here before? But in Spanish, when a verb is helping another verb like this, they're inseparable. They can't be split up the way we do in English. We call these things verb phrases, such as have been or is eating. And although we break them up in English, such as have not been or is currently eating, in Spanish, a verb phrase is inviolable. They have to be all together in the sentence. So the Spanish versions of these sentences would look more like this. So now the verb phrases are together. Have been, is eating, and so on. Now let's look at another example. I have not eaten it. You can probably already spot the problem. The not there is splitting up the phrase have eaten. But what about the word it there? That's got to be the word lo or la. Either way, a direct object pronoun that has to be right before the verb. But now we have two verbs. So the rule is that the direct object has to go before the conjugated verb in the sentence. Or to put it more simply, before the entire verb phrase. So this sentence in Spanish would look like this. I no lo he comido. Let's try another example, this one in the present tense. I am quickly eating it. So am eating would be the verb phrase, or estoy comiendo. And then the word it there, or lo, has to go right before that. Lo estoy comiendo. So the quickly is going to have to go outside of all of those, outside of that inviolable structure. Let's practice this with a few examples. They are not being babies. They no están siendo babies. The next one's going to be in a formal voice. You are not being a bad leader. Usted no está siendo a bad leader. He is not eating it. He no lo está comiendo. You have barely eaten it. You barely lo has comido. We are currently being good kids. We currently estamos siendo good kids. She has not eaten it. She no lo ha comido. I have surely eaten it. I surely lo he comido. I am surely eating more than you. I surely estoy comiendo more que you. You are unfortunately eating something bad. You unfortunately estás comiendo something bad. They have not been your students. They no han sido your students. In this next one, use a formal voice. You have not been there? ¿Usted no ha estado there? We have recently been here. We recently hemos estado aquí.